Oh, but not if we're monetizing.
True.
Oh.
All right, guys, we are live. Layer1Live. Good morning, good evening, good night. All-time high is 52. You guys are chatting in the chat right now. We appreciate the lads showing up early for us on this Monday. Let us know if the audio is good, and we should be ready to roll. What's going on today, Dima?
Yeah, man, not much. I just got back to Pittsburgh today. It was with my family over the weekend. Drank quite a bit of vodka with the family, celebrating. So had a great time. You were out as well. I saw some pictures and videos you were posting. What were you up to?
Yeah, I think everybody's just trying to recharge, man. We talked to Cooper Turley, and that episode is coming out this week. We talked to Cooper. He was kind of like feeling the same DeFi. What would you even call it? It's like a DeFi fatigue almost.
Yeah.
And I think everyone was looking to recharge. So yeah, definitely went to the mountains in Virginia this weekend. That was a fun time. But we've got a ton of guys that we want to get to in the chat here. We got Crypto Mike being first, Phasia, Scott Harris Firestone, Bruno, Pinochle, DJ, and Scott again is coming through. So everyone's ready for today. Dima's got himself a nice little sweater going on there. And damn, what's going on?
Yeah, man, look at that. Shep just left the room.
He's dipping.
Yeah, he just dipped out. But yeah, man, we have obviously packed episode as always. We have so many things that happened. Last weekend we were kind of going through the news and we're just like, wait a minute, this happened too. And they're like, wait, this happened too. And it's just like, and it's like so many things are happening that you think that it's been a while ago, but it was really just like packed all in 1 week, right?
We've even thought about on the channel. We've talked internally, maybe doing 2 Layer1Live episodes in a week, maybe having one on Wednesday or Thursday. But anyways, we're rolling up. We see I think 12, 13 in the chat right now. So Brandon's getting you guys hyped. Another thing, speaking of Brandon, this is what we're gonna do this week because we always talk about kind of the lads community and the Layer 1 community, NFT Live, in the beginning of the episode. We're going to actually bring Brandon in here to talk about what's going on in the lads community right now. So we're going to give this one try here. We'll see how it goes. And if it's good, we'll run it again next week. But Brandon, see if you can get into that Zoom link there on the dashboard. We'll bring you in and you can talk about the community this week. Let's see what we got here.
Bang, bang.
Oh My Coins is showing up. Hey lads, what's going on? Oh My Coins. Buffalo's in the house. We got 17 of you guys right now. We appreciate you guys showing up.
Boom.
Here we go, guys. This is this is what we were worried about.
Play the soundtrack.
Brandon, go to there he goes. He's clicking on the dashboard right now. Perfect. All right, let's see what we got. Is he coming in?
I think yeah,
there he is. There he is. All right, here we go. All right, what do we got, Brandon? Are you there? Connecting the audio. Test.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's up, lads?
Yeah, everybody's hyped up, man. So what's going on with lads, man? What are some interesting updates in the community? Is there someone in the background?
Hello? All right, guys, this is what we're going to do. Next week, we'll do that with Brandon. We're going to just roll through this week. I've got the updates here. We gave it a try, but we'll have that ready for you guys next week. So I've got the Alpha Lad of the Week. It's going to be Loadmaster and Aave. Lad of the Week is going to be Scott Harris Firestone. So we're going to roll with those guys this week. We appreciate you. Obviously, Scott was dropping a lot of info. And we want to give a shout-out real quick to Scott. I think he graduated with his real estate. He graduated real estate exam there. So we're going to give him a quick shout-out. That is the Lad of the Week. Alpha of the Week is going to be Loadmaster and Aave. Stats from this past week: USA, UK, Australia, Spain, and Canada. The top 3 episodes this past week: Meme, Animoca Brands, and DeFi Mega episode with Kane and Stanley. Expect that Audius episode on Wednesday. We promise to get that to you guys, and that's what's going on for the schedule this week. That's pretty much it. We've got a pretty big announcement that I want to get to though. What do you fill this time while I kind of fill this up.
Yeah,
Dimitri.
well, we were just talking right before we started, going live. Is the cringe song that came out on, on crypto? That was ridiculous. Oh my god, I don't know if you guys caught it, but it's basically this girl who was singing this stuff about crypto that's just like, oh man, I don't know how I felt about it. It was so cringe. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of knows like that's gonna happen in crypto. That made its rounds though. I feel like she got her marketing out of it. That's for sure. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay. So guys, this is gonna be the schedule for this week. Apologies for that kind of mix up there at the beginning of the episode. We got about 18 of you guys in the channel right now, so appreciate you guys showing up early. Scott's saying yes sir, thanks brother. So we got this week. Dimitri's that's gonna be tomorrow at 5 o'clock as always. This is what I wanted to show you guys, because tomorrow what I want to do is have the lads come out to Decentraland and take part. Oh god,
What happened?
we are completely botching the beginning of this episode. All right, here we go. It completely minimized it. All right, so this is what's happening, guys. We've got the meme virtual building launch in Decentraland. I'd love for the lads to come out for this. You do not need an account, right? So you don't need that account to come out here and take part in this. So we've got this event on Decentraland. I'll pull it up here. So this is going to be a building launch. It's going to be at 11 p.m., 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. UTC. I believe that is going to be. Let's see if we can't pull that up. What time is that at, Dimitri? Do you know?
Let me see. UTC, right?
Yep.
11 p.m. UTC. I'll tell you right now. That's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Eastern. So it's going to start at 10 p.m. UTC. That's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern. We're trying to get all the lads out for that. So basically what we're going to do is hop in Discord. That's kind of been our place to kind of congregate, obviously, over the past as we move from migrating to Telegram to Discord. That's been kind of the place that we've been going. So we're going to all kind of hop into Telegram and Discord. We're going to kind of get situated, but this is the event I would love for all the lads to come out to. It'd be dope to have a bunch of like lads t-shirts, but obviously this event is happening tomorrow. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow, guys. So maybe we can get after it there for a little bit at the meme launch. That should be really cool. It's also next to Binance. That's what I'm hearing. So
nice.
I've been to that area. It's a pretty cool spot. So they're launching that tomorrow. I'd love for all the lads to come out there. The other stuff that we're doing this week, we've got that Wednesday, again, that Layer 1 podcast with Audius that's coming out. Thursday is going to be NFT Live. Thursday is also going to be game night again. So we're going to figure out what game we want. There were some Warzone comments.
Yeah, it was interesting to see some lads that would like to play some Warzone. Maybe we can get a squad together. The problem with that is just like, we have obviously limited seats in Warzone, so there's only 4 people that can participate in one party. But we'll see. Among Us has been kind of fun. I did miss the last one, which I'm not happy about because I had so much fun on the previous one. But apparently we did have the winners there too. So
yeah, it was a good time at the Among Us little game night that we had. So we're going to continuously do that every week. I think it's going to grow every week, and we're looking forward to that. Guys that have been here, we're working through. I know we had that like initial issue, and we're kind of working through some technical issues. So appreciate you guys sticking along. I think Aave just showed up. So we're definitely getting into the episode now. The only other thing, we've got Dimitri's desk on Friday, and that's about it for the episode and the channel events this week. We've got some interesting stuff that's going on with NFT Live. Ronan is starting up a artist series. So basically what's happening there is, and I'm not going to drop the full information here. I think it's better that we do it correct. But basically we're working with a large brand in the space to highlight artists every week, and Ronan's going to take those interviews and he's going to highlight an artist every week. If you can kind of put that together before the launch, maybe the lads can know before everyone else. So if you guys can guess who it is, maybe we'll DM you if you get the right answer. But we're working with a large brand every week. We're going to interview the artist, and then we're going to put those out and spotlight them every week. So if you guys can guess in the chat, maybe we'll get some extra lads. So
that's awesome. That sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah. So guys, I think we're coming out of it here. We can feel the episode kind of coming together now. We've got about 20 of you in the chat. We're gonna get to the remaining part of the episode. So listen, on the I believe my right, but your left, we've got breaking discussion: Ethereum, EOS, DeFi, social tokens. So we added a social category. I think that sector is getting big enough for us to talk about, and obviously it's relevant to lads. And then we're going to hit NFTs at the end of the episode. So huge news this week. We obviously had Square come out with the Bitcoin news. We'll touch on that in discussion. BlueKirby kind of just pulled the rug out from a lot of BlueKirby stands, so a lot of people are out of money based on that little guy. So don't trust any Kirbys out there, guys. Other than that, we've got some huge news out of EOS. Solana's doing some cool stuff. Obviously, NFTs are continuously evolving. And then we've got some, pretty much, I think China news is going to be pretty big. So we're going to touch on this episode. Other than that, guys, 52 is the all-time high on Layer1Live. We're going to get started here. Brandon's going to continue getting the word out about this episode, and we're going to continue bringing the hot content. But, again, appreciate all the lads showing up early, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Sounds like a plan. So if we're ready, we can get into the breaking news.
Hold on. One last thing, guys. Ronan pulled something in the Discord. I don't have the damn link. Let me see if I can get it. Ronan actually became a writer for Crypto Writer. So go into Telegram, go into Lad Citadel Discord. He dropped the links in there. He's a Crypto Writer now, writing on voice, which is awesome. So just a quick shout out there.
Yeah, man. Congrats to him. That's awesome.
Cool. All right.
Yep, we're ready.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, cool. So as far as breaking news go, the one piece that we have here is about Aave. So Aave raised $25 million from blockchain.com and other investors in order to expand their kind of market share in Asia sector. So they're looking to actually onboard more members onto the team that will help them also attract the institutional investors in the Asian market. We know how Asian market is huge, and DeFi is booming over there, so they definitely want to capture that. And we just know in general, Steny, has been killing it, right? We've seen them recently do a migration from Lend token to Aave. So if you guys have Lend, I would strongly recommend going to Aave website and then making that migration, so then you can take part in additional things that they're going to be rolling out. Right now you can do staking and stuff, where you can earn basically by staking Aave token. But in general, they're just essentially raised money so they can expand the Asian markets. And just in general, I strongly recommend you guys kind of maybe, for those that are not aware of Aave, go back to the interview that we did with Aave, because Steny explains their journey. It's very interesting because it wasn't just off the start where they became successful, right? It wasn't just overnight. The Lend and Aave, the whole platform went through a long history in crypto. And then just now, it started getting all this attention and start blowing up. So it's important to kind of notice that when you look at these companies, these kind of foundations and platforms, to realize that, what they went through, and it wasn't just an overnight success where they just became successful, right away. It was actually, they went through a lot of experiments. There was a lot of struggle. There was many issues. And the spotlight was not on them. And, now that the spotlight is on them, they're killing it by, getting more resources like capital to expand their team, expand their market further. So pretty nice to see that for Aave.
Yeah, I can definitely see where they're expanding into the Asian markets as a company goal, right? You would definitely want to hit Chinese DeFi. But the point about institutional money and them trying to onboard institutional money into DeFi, do you think that's is that a pipe dream? Or is that kind of like, we've seen this kind of institutional money start to flow into Bitcoin over the past couple of years, but the meme is always like, there's no way that institutional is going to be messing with DeFi. What do you make of those plans based on that situation? I see Chef over there. He's getting his popcorn ready.
Oh man, he's getting super comfortable. Look at that. That's awesome.
He's ready.
But yeah, it's a good question, because I think just in general, when we talk about institutional investors and institutional sector in crypto, I think a lot of people look at it in a way where it's like they look at traditional companies, right, that are not in crypto yet, maybe, or they have little exposure to crypto, but they're primarily outside of crypto. Those would be kind of maybe hard for them to participate in these like DeFi projects because of regulations and so on. But companies that are already in crypto are running platforms in crypto, they're servicing the crypto sector specifically, or they're hedge funds that are specifically focusing on crypto. Those are the institutional clients that they're looking to attract more of, not necessarily kind of like the traditional side of institutional clients that we know from traditional finance. I mean, not yet, basically.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Well, we'll touch on more macro news from the Bitcoin side of things. I know everyone's kind of excited that Bitcoin's above 11K and going steady on upwards. So we'll touch on more of that stuff. But let me get to the quick news real quick. I'll kind of kick us off here. Guys that are in the chat, let's get the chat rolling. We got 25 of you watching. Let us know what's going on in crypto this past week. It's not just about us bringing you the news. I want to hear about what you did the past week. Like me and Dimitri were saying, we kind of took an R&R this past weekend. So we need you guys to fill us up on some of the news as well. We've got a ton of people. Fresco just showed up. Oh My Coins is there. Paul Young Jr. just showed up. Scott's there. All-time high is 52, guys. So we're gonna look to hit that. If we do hit that, more lads will be dropped for the engagement today. But I'm gonna hit the quick news real quick. Good to see Brandon's got everything up and rolling. So I'm gonna start off the quick news with this Coinbase story here. So if you guys were kind of living under a rock, it looks like Brian Armstrong dropped kind of a mission statement I would say over the past week. It might be a week and a half now, basically saying that they were going to take an apolitical stance on everything that's going on in specifically the U.S. right now, as it concerns to different things that are happening, like Black Lives Matter. They were pretty much saying, or Brian was pretty much saying, hey, look, we're going to take a very company-focused approach. We're not going to have any political talk in the office that gets up to a certain point, right? I'm sure like they're not going to come out with the whips if someone says the word, Biden in the office. But right. As far as the office's mission and everything like that, he was basically saying, we're going to make sure that we're focusing on our goal, which is to create a better financial product for people out there in retail as well as institutional. Well, it looks like 5% of the workforce over there, or 60 of the 1,200 that work in the San Francisco offices, which is, I think comprises like all of the offices that Coinbase currently maintains. It looks like 5% of the employees walked out and took the exit package that was talked about in that apolitical post that he had dropped a week and a half ago. So I mean, it's an interesting thing. We have our thoughts on it. We're not going to get too far into the weeds on the political stuff, but I think both me and you both agree that it's kind of ridiculous to leave your job over something like this. Again, don't want to go down the rabbit hole. This isn't an Alex Jones podcast, but it looks like we saw 5% of the workforce leave over there at Coinbase because of this stance that Brian Armstrong is taking, which is essentially not taking either side, kind of just saying, hey, let's focus on the mission. So what do you think?
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I kind of like how he went about it, because it's he basically gave an opt-in, like your choice for the employees that don't have the similar vision of where he wants to kind of drive the company. Mm-hmm. And people made that decision. If they it's better to do that way, because if he continued to probably stretch this out, or if this would escalate in the company, then that could destabilize and make things very unproductive for the company overall goals. So I think in general, it's fine to re-rotate some positions. During that time, you're also given opportunity for the people that, let's say, are working for the company, but they're not seeing themselves kind of like they're like kind of progressing, or like that they want to stay there for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe some people would just listen, I kind of work here, it's nice, but I kind of don't see myself like staying here for a while, and this is an opportunity for me to actually get out, even if it has nothing to do with like the fact that like all this political stuff that he talked about. So it's sometimes companies do those things to make sure that you have the A team always on board, and this way you don't have those that are like kind of halfway in, halfway out, and they're not sure. So it gave an opportunity for everybody to kind of rethink their position.
Yeah.
Some of them obviously were related to the political stuff too.
And I think mirroring your statements there, it looks like Brian said, while having team members leave is never easy, I think we will emerge as a more aligned company from this with dissenters gone, survivorship bias maybe that's not actually his quote. So basically what he said, well, having team members leave is never easy. I think we will emerge as a more aligned company, which I think mirrors your statements. It was interesting. Jack Dorsey came out immediately against him and said like crypto inherently is political, based on like its, I guess, the blockchain's workings of kind of taking power away from larger banks and into the hands of people. He basically said that crypto is inherently political, so you can't take that out of the equation. I don't necessarily.
Yeah, to a certain like extent, right? It's kind of, it's like a slippery slope there, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if that matters, then this matters, then that, and then you end up like in total chaos. So I think it just there has to be a balance there, right? So and I think it's not that big of a deal. Jack, Dorsey is obviously very vocal, and I have a lot of respect for him, obviously as a person. So
yeah,
yeah,
guys, we made it out of the political talk without getting into too much arguments. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna move on. I think we're gonna talk about Jack Dorsey later. But yeah, certainly interesting move and in response from those at Coinbase. So John McAfee, looks like our man got pinched over in Spain. So obviously he's been on, I wouldn't say the run for a while, but he's definitely been outside the U.S. Trying to make sure that he doesn't get extradited back to the U.S. for a long time. He's been very anonymous when it comes to like his location. He's always in international waters, at least a good amount of time. So it looks like he did get pinched in Spain. So they're going to bring him back, and it looks like they're going to be indicting him on tax evasion. So that he's on his way back to the U.S. I think as we speak. We'll see what happens. I think they definitely pointed out multiple ICOs that he was working with. I don't think I'm going to name any names here on the podcast, but it was interesting. At ICO Alert, we were in contact. Well, how do we say this without us also becoming part of this? We were, we knew guys that were talking with McAfee, and that was an interesting time at the office. Definitely interesting stuff, man. But what do you make of this McAfee getting pinched about these ICOs?
Yeah, I mean, it's been like for a while, right? These guys have been chasing him for a while, and he finally got caught. This is a very interesting movie made about him. I don't know if you watched it, but there's a movie about McAfee. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's on Netflix or not, but it basically covers kind of his journey and talks about, it's like a documentary. It's just insane, like the story there. But I don't think it really gets into the crypto side of things. But it does talk about like, kind of from the beginning where he started and, the antivirus and all that stuff, how it became big. But I think it was just a matter of time until he was going to get caught and, slip up. So he obviously did now. He's been sent straight to the gulag. So
he is in the gulag. I think directly from the SEC, it says McAfee engaged in a practice known as scalping, which generally allows promoters to sell their securities holdings quickly and profitably through market interest that they deceptively generate and violate the federal securities laws. So obviously he was getting paid in ICO tokens to then shill the token, to which he was then able to dump on the open market. That's kind of the situation. We all knew what was going on. We got some comments here. Let's see. Brandon said the great McAfee Twitter shilling was a sight to see.
Yeah.
Michael Katz in the house saying free McAfee. So where do you stand in this this situation, Dima?
I don't know. McAfee is an interesting character. He he goes against all these rules, right? So and back in the day when he was doing those things with ICOs, well, technically those ICOs were not marked as a security. So if it's not a security, then you can technically do that, right? I guess in theory. But later on, obviously they were, classified as securities, and then this whole thing started. But yeah, he's one of those guys that, like, just based on the history, he just doesn't really care. He takes this huge risk and lives on the edge all the time. Sometimes you'd be like on drugs, doing live streams, on Twitter, like teaching people about how to make drinks or something. Like, the guy was, he's definitely a character.
Definitely.
How old is he?
He's got to be. I think I saw on there 67. So,
okay.
And maybe he shouldn't be doing copious amounts of drugs at his age, but who knows? We'll see what happens with McAfee. I want to get to some of these comments. It looks like Paul Young missed the market going up, so maybe if you were watching Dimitri's desk, you could have had a better analysis on what was going on with the markets. I know Vlad was looking for that Dimitri's desk on Friday, but you were out of the office, so that's coming to you next. I believe tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Boom.
So
back at it.
Let's see, what else do we got? It looks like Aave took place in that Alien Worlds dropped. Guys, we're going to touch on that Alien World NFT drop here on Wax at the end of the episode, so stay tuned with that. Fresco saying politics should be taken out of all non-political professions. It looks like, what else do we got? Aave saying shield live stream on NFT Hype and Meme Group. We'll do Twitter also. Thank you so much for getting the word out. That's what we need, guys. We're steadily growing. We're going to be one of the biggest channels in crypto, and we need your help, and you're going to be part of it. So appreciate it.
Yeah, and you guys been killing it for sure. And it looks like there's 33 of you guys now watching. The number is slowly pumping. So we ready to move forward here with the rest of the quick news that we got here.
Let's touch it.
Yeah, so let's talk about basically this migration per se, right? Of Bitcoin, it's being locked in Ethereum, right? We've talked about how kind of wrap BTC and ran BTC was going to attract a lot of interest from people that were sitting on BTC and want to take advantage of the DeFi, right? So in the past, obviously, right now, even you can use centralized services like BlockFi, Celsius, and so on, right, to earn interest on BTC. But if you wanted to use DeFi, since it's mainly used on Ethereum, then that's what is required. You have to basically lock up your BTC. You get minted this wrap BTC or REN BTC, and then you can use kind of like BTC within the Ethereum network. And that has grown to 1.5 billion now that's locked up on Ethereum. So many people have talked about how we should see that number, continue to go higher, because that's basically more BTC holders that are looking to utilize it within DeFi as as it continues to kind of provide value in terms of rates and lending and borrowing and so on. So the majority of it is actually locked in wrap BTC, which holds 73% of the market share. And the next one up is REN BTC, which is 20% of the market share. So just wanted to give you guys an update that we got Bitcoin that's getting used on Ethereum network, which is like pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, I think the meme there is that Ethereum has become almost what Lightning Network was supposed to be, and they actually go and do a good job of explaining what's happening on the Lightning Network, which is not a lot right now. So looks like, based on the numbers, man, I had it here for a second, but it looks like 130 times the amount, essentially, of what's happening on Ethereum is going on less on the Lightning Network. So we'll see. Obviously, there's no composability with that Lightning Network, and that's the reason you see people bringing Ethereum or their BTC onto the Ethereum network. So is there a future for Lightning Network? I mean,
yeah, it's kind of like tough to say, right? Because it's like, is there a future for other features that are kind of around, but they're not kind of picking up in terms of popularity, right? It seems like Ethereum is just sucking, it's like a black hole. It sucks everybody into it, as Kane likes to explain. So I think I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. And I'm maybe some of the lads could tell us their opinion about the Lightning Network, but there's really haven't been much
Yeah, I mean, there's no incentive for Ethereum to move on to the Bitcoin network, right? Everything is living on Ethereum. Like that's the same thing we've seen with Wax. I think as we see, PBTC, which is wrapped BTC on EOS, there needs to be something for those people that hold the Bitcoin to do. And I think the first users will probably be those that already hold both EOS and BTC. But maybe eventually, if the EOS network rolls out, which there was some big news this week that might lead to more people kind of changing their view on EOS. But I think once you do have that network built out, maybe you do start to get people that are just holding BTC be interested in feeless transactions on EOS. Certainly that's not happening on Ethereum. They're just looking to chase yield, and that's why that Ethereum or that BTC is moving on to Ethereum. But
yeah, Mike Scott says, pretty sure Lightning is a big flop.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see what's going to happen there. All right. Just to wrap up the quick news, we got the last piece of news here, which is 1.5. Funny how these both numbers are the same. 1.5 million of China's CBDC will be distributed in Shenzhen. So basically an airdrop that's going to happen there for 50,000 residents.
This was big.
Yeah, so if any of you guys want to travel there really quick and claim the airdrop,
$30 worth.
Yeah. So basically, I guess it's $30 if we kind of did the math there in terms of how much each person is going to get. But it's important because it kind of outlines the fact that China is trying to be on in front of all the other countries that are talking about the basic digitalizing their local currency, right? We've seen Japan come out recently, said that they're gonna start experimenting with digitalizing yen next year. We have US dollar that the Fed is always kind of talking about and different things in terms of introducing that, but we haven't really seen that just yet. It looks like China is moving forward in that, and they're starting the experiment on their end and see how it's going to perform. They're saying that there's going to be 3,000 retail locations that will be able to use basically CBDC. So they'll gauge it and see how it kind of rolls out. The interesting part about this is obviously the fact that the benefits that it provides. I've talked about this in previous episodes. Is just that right now the way the structure is in terms of monetary policies, right, and determining the stimulus or doing certain things in terms of adjusting rates and reacting to economic slowdown or so, there's a delay there because you have to go through a lot of paperwork. You have to go through a lot of delayed indicators that you don't see in real time. So then you kind of behind in terms of one step behind every time because you're using that information. But with digitalizing current local currencies, you can identify and see where the money is kind of flowing within each sectors in real time, and you can have more accurate information and perhaps have more of a leading indicator set up. And I think that's what China is trying to do. They obviously love to monitor their citizen, and this is one way that they can do by monitoring how they're spending these money, how they're going to spend the $30. But I think it's not only China that's going to be, watching this experiment. I think it's the other countries as well that are like working on this and talking about experimenting. They're going to see how things might going to roll out, here in China, if it's going to be a great success, and then maybe if there's mistakes there, they'll probably learn from that and perhaps have a better setup when they get released in other countries like Japan and so on. So this is a very interesting stuff, as you guys can see. I love to talk about that topic and digitalizing fiat basically.
Yeah, there's a lot of good little mini pieces in here that are interesting to touch on. I think one of the main pieces is that they're looking to reduce, obviously, their reliance on the US dollar. I want to know from your perspective, after I kind of touch on this for a second, I want to know how moving to digital currency and this DCEP is going to reduce the reliance. But it looks like they're trying to roll this out before the Winter Olympics in 2022. So they're going to have that Winter Olympics in Beijing there. If they can set that up prior to 2022, that would be interesting to see how onboarding of like just users in general to the Chinese yuan through DCEP. Like that will be interesting to see. Like I'm an American or I'm an Australian. I fly into China and I'm able to download a wallet that has DCEP on it. That would be a really cool experiment. The only other thing, it looks like they've already commenced some of these testings with like the Chinese Uber, I guess DD. So it'll be interesting to see. I agree with what you're talking about, though. You can definitely track your citizens a little bit easier with digital currency than you can with regular old fiat. But to my initial question, how does DCEP destabilize at least their reliance on the U.S. dollar?
Yeah, so it's I guess the first kind of example that pops into my head is the fact that the SWIFT that's being used, the system to transfer funds, right? Specifically, using a dollar to transfer funds as well. And SWIFT is owned basically by US, and therefore, if there's any type of issues with the countries, they can just basically start implementing certain sanctions and prevent the capital movement between certain nations through the SWIFT system. And that's something that has been talked around for a while between multiple countries. The reliance on the SWIFT system and the fact that like it's controlled by US and they can do whatever they want, and they want to get away from that more. So I think a better way to transact in trusted environment like that, where SWIFT you have to trust the nation, or maybe if it's set up where it's on a blockchain or digitalized, it'll be more transparent and it can be replacing that side of things of SWIFT, and transferring value. So less reliance on US and the US dollar. You can do settlements, probably more settlements can be done for commodities using the local currency instead of dollar, because dollar is the one that's is being used for settlements for commodities mostly nowadays. So it'll be interesting to see. They're obviously pushing this very hard, and just like Kat here said in chat, rumor has it Japanese are working on something big, and I think they're not too far behind China in terms of getting this set up. So
Japan's population structure always like strikes me as something that is so interesting, man. Like the way they're set up, and I've seen some stories over the past week where they have like a lost generation based on like this weird time in the 90s and early 2000s where I guess the population kind of was just so densely populated with older adults and not enough young people. There was just there was a lack of just jobs, and now you're talking about. I don't want to get too far into it, but Japan feels like they always kind of have to be on the innovators front so that their economy can continue to function. Even
say similar to China too. They have quite a bit of demographic issues there. With the one-child policies that were around, and which changed kind of like the generations and. Kind of they have Asian population, but there's a gap there in generation. So it's like I think all of them know this stuff is happening, and they're trying to stay on top, because otherwise if they're going to remain the way they are now without innovating their way out of this, then they're going to be in big trouble.
And also the Japanese government buying up basically all the equities, correct? Like I'm just getting into the financial markets as it comes to the global system, but they definitely have just like propped up all of their equities within their country.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's kind of done globally in just different ways, and just some just bluntly do it, and some just do it a little bit creative. Got it. But where you just give out loans to the companies and they buy their stock. That's kind of what we're doing here. Over there, they're just like, all right, you know what? We're just going to outright do it, instead of playing this little game where I'm just going to give you a loan and then you're going to use that loan to buy back the shares and increase the value of the shares for the shareholders. that to get this loan.
Gotcha.
Sounds like a Ponzi scheme.
Does sound like kind of a Ponzi scheme. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna touch on some of the comments. We're gonna hit on Bitcoin and the rise in price over the past week, I would say, but definitely in the past 48 hours. Let's get to some of the comments though, because we did have some good ones come through. It looks like JLo's in the house, Danny's in the house. Looks like Mike Scott showed up, but we got Michael Cat throwing out a joke. I had a lightning joke, but he stole it. Badoom. So good one there. Erickson, I think, is talking about DCEP when he says that would be moving off-chain a downgrade. So I think he's talking about maybe off-chain transactions as it comes to DCEP. I'm not familiar with like kind of the back end there. But Carlito's way saying go EOS. DJ is talking about lads needing stimulation. Yes, we got to hit that 52 number if we want that extra lads airdrop. There's a ton of you guys commenting, so I don't know if I'm going to get all the way through it. I think there's some NBA comments. What's up? Go ahead.
That ETH is pumping. 389 right now since we started the podcast.
Good old lads pump. Good old lads pump. All right, LeBron tokens down 80%. Not sure what we're talking about. I think I just missed that entire thing. I think there's a comment on Box, which is basically that automated market pool on EOS. I think I don't have anything bad to say on Box other than I think the user interface could be a little bit better. EOS definitely needed a place to showcase what it could do from an automated market maker perspective. I think I like the service of being able to swap tokens without KYC, without being on an exchange. We've seen it on Uniswap, so I don't need to go into that. But the ability to do that on EOS with the feeless transactions is definitely good. So there's some apps.
I think he's referring to LeBron. Basically, Lakers getting smoked in the finals by the Heat.
You got the wrong info, dude.
No, what are you talking about?
They won in 6.
No way.
Lakers 1 in 6. LeBron got his 4th.
What?
Yeah. We might have a Jordan LeBron debate here. let's add that into discussion. No, we won't get into it. Yeah, they won last night. They pretty much killed the Heat. I think they won the series 4-2. So congrats on LeBron. I don't know where the NBA EOS makes it easy for institutions to get into crypto, buy resources, and write adapt. The NBA as well. So I don't know where we flew into that, but I see a tokenized LeBron comment. Yeah, interesting stuff, guys. What actually led us to the NBA discussion? I'm not seeing it. All right, so this is what we're gonna do while we're trying to.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. He's coming down off of it. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to have Dimitri kind of break down Bitcoin as we see it the past week, kind of like a mini Dimitri's desk or like a very small portion there. And then we'll get into discussion. We've got Square buying up this BTC, so maybe that's a interesting flow point where we can kind of just get into it. So maybe we'll talk about that first, and then we'll get into this BlueKirby situation and Alameda kind of getting involved. But YFI has been having some crazy ass shit go down, man. They have had major FUD over the past week to 2 weeks. It's been a rough time for YFI on a price as well as kind of a fundamental standpoint. Maybe not fundamental, just from a FUD standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, Wi-Fi stuff. We've talked about it in the past. That token is kind of related a lot to the yields, right, available in the market. So as the yields come down, the repricing of that Wi-Fi, especially with additional FUD that's coming out right now, it's not that good. But in regards to the markets right now, we're seeing very good green day today. And it's kind of crazy because I don't want to get political, but there's things in terms of like stimulus that's being debated right now, and you have basically one side that comes out says, hey, listen, we're not going to negotiate anymore, that's it, this is done, and then the market's correct, and then the next day they come out and they say, oh, we're negotiating, stimulus is like imminent, like we're looking to like deploy it, right? And then you can see markets react to that, right? That's kind of the kind of swinging around between up and down. They're trying to see, decide on what the stimulus is going to be, and that's obviously translates into further inflation that's going to be related to the size of the stimulus. That's why the markets are like whipsawing like crazy. But it looks like as far as BTC goes and ETH, will obviously had beautiful 5 green days now, counting today as well. On BTC, we trading 11.5. I've talked about 11, the range between 11 and 10K. We broke out of that. That was beautiful. The things are looking pretty good. And we obviously have big players that are announced that they're either buying BTC or they've bought a significant amount of BTC already. And it's interesting when you see those players come out, announce that, and then you look at the market and it's like, well, the market didn't even move that much. And it's like, yeah, that's because how liquid it is and, how big it is now that we can handle orders like that. And it's not going to, move the market.
I know it's kind of like a chicken or the egg. It's like such a hypothetical situation, but imagine not having the volume and having these pieces of news come out. Yeah. I know like one predicates the other, so it's kind of a stupid hypothetical, but yeah, like you're saying, in 2016 this would have moved the market 10 times probably more than what it's doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. The sophistication of the market right now is big compared to where we were, just like maybe a year ago or even 2. So it's good to see that overall things are looking pretty good. I think in general, I think we're still on the course in terms of moving towards inflation, right? In terms of more stimulus and all that stuff. And a lot of companies are realizing that and they start diversifying their portfolios. We've talked about the micro strategies, right? That put 1/3 of their capital, in BTC. That was pretty crazy. I think I'm not sure if they're still buying it, but they were buying like 5 million like a day or something like that. But another one is Square, right? Which is in the discussion piece that we have here. Square basically came out and said, hey, we bought 50 million Bitcoin, and basically they explained that it's 1% of Square's assets that they're allocating for Bitcoin. And, it talks about how it aligns with their vision for how things are playing out in the market. And they're looking to increase that exposure. Obviously, Jack Dorsey's, very bullish on Bitcoin. And also at the same time, when you start having these companies that are diversifying into Bitcoin now, it's interesting to see how they're becoming almost like proxies now on the stock market, because people can actually, let's say, get their buy their shares, and now they have indirect kind of exposure to BTC as well. So it's very interesting to see, how more and more kind of companies are trying to, are doing that. And those people that trade stocks, they can have that exposure without actually owning BTC. They can just, do it through a proxy like that. So that's kind of like the state of the market right now. It's definitely interesting to see how more companies, more investors, more big companies and people are coming out and they're basically allocating some portion of their capital. Now we need to understand that it is 1%, right? This is not 50 or 70% that like the degens allocate, in the cryptocurrency industry. They, it's a small portion, but they want to have exposure to BTC. So
yeah, it's this interesting narrative that's playing out that the next run will be kind of institutional based, right? It's not going to be retail based. 2017 was definitely a retail led kind of bull run, and the idea here is now that institutions in like stacking order will start to say, okay, well, because Square put in 50 mil, maybe PayPal gets in. I think I asked Rob that in the chat this morning. I said, hey, what do you think will be the next big boy to kind of put that on their books, put Bitcoin on their books in a 1% fashion, 2% fashion? They don't need to go all in. That's another thing that you've heard from I think that episode with Kane. So if you guys are playing the drinking game, we we mention Kane all the time. But yeah, Kane said, listen, they're not going to get in all at once. They're going to dip their toes, and this is Square dipping their toes in BTC. And in stacking, if we can stack multiple institutional and big entities that are just adding Bitcoin to their books, that's going to be the bull run that kind of leads to the next good cycle for us that are already in.
Yeah, and when institutional players are getting in, they're gonna get in a very sophisticated manner. They're not gonna, they're gonna scale in slowly, and because in traditional finance, there's multiple ways of doing this through iceberg orders and so on, where you slowly get into your position without impacting the price. Because the last thing you want to do is market buy with 50 million, let's say, and then the slippage that you can experience on your entry is going to be ridiculous. So the fact that the BTC volatility is relatively low, actually I would say it's significantly lower than the years in the past. It just shows you how sophisticated the market is. With these big players are coming in and volatility is low, then that just shows you how mature this market has become since like 2018 or so on.
Yeah, Mike's saying the institutions are coming. Narrative of 2018, just 2 years too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Well, we got some guys that are popping in the chat now. It's about 38 of you in the chat now. So we got Danny. I am finally on with the lads. Good to see you. Carlito's still having some questions on I believe the Liquid Apps governance token DAD. Looks like we've got some more comments related to China. And we're going to continue with this episode here, guys. I guess the last question I'd throw to you, Dimitri, on this Bitcoin piece is, who do you think is kind of the next public company that might add BTC to the books? What are we thinking here, if you had to kind of throw out an expectation?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's a good question. I guess I haven't really thought about kind of the next player that would do it. But, obviously public companies have been doing for some time. It's also interesting to, as I'm thinking of like the company that I would guess would do it next, it's also interesting to note that the stock prices for those companies that are allocating some capital towards Bitcoin, that their stock price is going up. Imagine what's going to happen to IPOs for like these companies like Coinbase and BlockFi and so on, right? When they hit the stock market, and you have more of a direct exposure, like, to the crypto sectors that those companies basically service. So that's of itself is going to be super huge. So I'm like very excited for the IPO phase that I think is going to come probably in 2021 with some of these crypto companies that are starting to do that. I know Coinbase has been talking about IPO for a while, but I think now that we're in this market phase where that's going to be starting to roll out in the next year, because we have all the kind of tools in place.
It's setting the stage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When STOs? That's the real question. That's that 2017 narrative.
Yeah. Or IEOs, what happened to those? It's like
IEOs are still happening, man. Come on, Binance is still rolling out IEOs.
Yeah, they're still going hard.
Speaking of that, I don't think that's in. Oh, we have that later in the NFT section. Flow had that CoinList auction, which I guess you could kind of say is an IEO, but not really. But anyways, we'll touch on that later. We've got some comments here. Scott's guessing Google. Danny's guessing PayPal.
Goldman Sachs.
Good.
They're already in it. It's the circle.
Yeah, true. All right. So I guess the only other question on that would be, when are they going to start buying up ETH? That's the next rung down, right? We'll see if they make it down the shitcoin rabbit hole. When are they going to start buying up my substratum? We'll see. But
you still have it?
No. No, I sent those to a Dust account long ago. No, I'm joking.
Gotcha.
All right, so guys, we've got this BlueKirby and Wi-Fi situation I'm going to touch on, but Dima, can you actually hit some of these comments? I'm gonna kind of run for about 15 seconds. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Ari, who joined from Meme, NFT Hype, Wax Group. Welcome, guys. Yeah, it looks like there's 34 of you guys. Welcome. We are now in the discussion piece. This is where we kind of bring up the topic, and we want to hear from you guys, your opinion, as we talk about our, opinion, whatever topic it is. Like we specifically just talked about, Square and institutional players that are getting into Bitcoin and what it means. So, discussion piece is one of the favorite parts of our episode that we do every Monday, because we can get into different discussions about fundamentals and sometimes even get into the tinfoil conspiracies too. So.
Love that. Somebody was commenting last week about our intro. We might have to change up our intro if they're looking for Mike.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
Speaking of crypto conspiracies, that's what you're still saying. So we've got Phasia saying don't buy Substratum. Agreed. What if there isn't a poster child for that 2017 time? Paul Young saying my comment got censored. Looks like we're censoring Paul Young. There's about 38 of you guys. Let's hit 52. Get your buddies. Get your second monitor going. Let's hit 52. Paul Young saying, I was wondering about IPO, and I still like Crow is 8% is 18% Ponzi territory. So I don't know the details there, but definitely keep the comments rolling, guys, as we get into this Wi-Fi situation with BlueKirby.
Yeah. I'm just checking the price for a sub. That thing, oh man, when DeFi on Substratum?
Soon.
Yeah.
Chinese firewall. Come on now. All right, we need like Brandon's saying, we need to get 12 people to pass all-time highs. Looks like Kat is saying they already bought up ETH, you just don't know it yet. So that's the conspiracy theory I like to see on this channel. All right, so this is the situation. Wi-Fi has been getting hit with some massive price depreciation. Let's see what Wi-Fi is. I'm gonna pull that up. I think the high on Wi-Fi was around
40.
Yeah, something around 40, 42. Let's see if we can't find it. Let's go 90 days here. It looks like the high for that was around 43.6. And now what we've seen over the past, I guess, starting in the 26th of September to about the 8th of October, which I think was about maybe 6 days ago, we had a low of about 13K. So that's a significant price dump. There was a lot of different things that were going around at the time of that dump. Most of which were the fact that DeFi itself was just slowing down as a whole in aggregate. So obviously a yield aggregator from all of DeFi being the main feature of Wirearn, you're going to see that price depreciation. But along with that, you saw a lot of how can I say, FUD situations where you had this BlueKirby, and I hate to even bring up BlueKirby, but he was a significant factor in kind of the community outreach on the token. I know early on he had an Anon Twitter account, allocated a bunch of Wi-Fi. He just had a ton of Wi-Fi. I think he had almost 1% of the total supply. It went up to 40K. I think he had somewhere in the vicinity of millions of dollars, many millions of dollars. He became kind of the spokesperson other than Andre for Wi-Fi. And you saw a series of missteps, some of which had to do with the Emanate situation where I guess Andre was working on a test in production, and it got pulled. It got rug pulled by somebody exploiting the contract. People lost money. Kirby had kind of been on the front talking about that project before it got hit. He then decided to sell a bunch of Wi-Fi and told the community it was because he's trying to be more anonymous. He's going to buy it back up from another account. Because everyone had obviously at that point known his address, so they just knew what he was doing with his tokens. He wanted to be a little bit more anonymous. And then it kind of concluded with this situation with OffBlue. So I'm going to drop this link in the chat real quick. It looks like Kirby was trying to do let me see if I can't bring this up, guys. Let me know if this works. It looks like he was trying to do some NFT project, right, called OffBlue. and OffBlue essentially was offering NFTs in exchange for, I believe, ETH. I'm assuming ETH at this point, and it was on Rarible, and it looks like, and I'll go through some of this it's got kind of screenshots. This is from Wrecked Ghost, which they put together a good kind of presentation here on the situation. There was a OffBlue project using an NFT sales platform, OffBlue, which raised over $800,000. So $800,000 in minutes went onto this project, OffBlue, which was on the Rarible platform. So he was like raising money through providing NFTs, and he rug pulled. Without getting too far into it, let me see if I can pull it up. His Twitter no longer exists. Let's see. BlueKirby Fi. Yeah, there it is. His Twitter basically no longer exists. So he rug pulled. That project is no longer. Rarible came out and said something like, we're no longer going to, list this, and it's been completely deactivated. BlueKirby Fi completely deleted his Twitter, and he ran off with all the money, and we don't know where BlueKirby is now. Some certain influencers, I believe. Let's see. I don't know. What do you think while I pull up some of these links?
Yeah,
man?
yeah. It's it's crazy because we talk about this thing where it's like, keeping yourself anonymous and privacy, so people, don't look at your wallet and know exactly who you are. Mm-hmm. I was listening to Suzu's podcast this, I think on Friday. He was talking about this issue with institutional kind of, traders or even just, regular investors that would have their capital, let's say, in a wallet, and those wallets are, very closely watched, right? And it's like hard to like do anything without, being broadcasted to the network. And it's like, hey, this guy's like, moving this money around, he's selling this, he's doing that, right? And which is like, I understand why, being anonymous is kind of good in that sense, so people can attach the identity to the specific wallet and know exactly how much money you have there. But the dark side of it is that could be, an exit scam where, like this case where somebody just like rug pulls, does a bunch of crazy stuff, and dips out, and then, try to explain to your wife why you lost the money because you invested in BlueKirby. Like, it's like, come on, man. So that's the sad part about it.
Yeah, and it was funny. Somebody tweeted about this. It's like, so I guess this happened in 2018 with an ICO. I'm not certain, but the guy like commented, he's like, "I warned you about this Kirby, and now there's this other BlueKirby, so don't trust any Kirbys." And that's just like peak crypto in 2020 and just in general. But I do agree. Like, there's a place for anonymous accounts. But there needs to be some type of reputation attached. I think Whale Shark commented on this. I might be able to pull up some Whale Shark comments because he obviously is a notable member within the social token community, and he had something to say about this situation because him being anonymous, this might look bad for anonymous accounts. So I think he weighed in on the situation. But let us know what you think in the comments, guys. With this, I think this is an interesting topic. It's interesting that so much money. And that's like peak crypto, is that so much money is involved in an Anon Kirby account. Like,
yeah,
I think at the peak of the hype when YFI was like hovering around 40K, and they announced that there was going to be roles, like jobs that were subsidized by the community vault, which obviously with that price increased the amount in the vault, so they were going to start pushing that towards the community. He had a role at YFI as the community manager, like the general community manager, $7,000 a month. So he was very involved in just YFI in general. Crazy, man.
Yeah, it's it's kind of hard to find out the real story. There's a lot of speculation, conspiracies behind it. In terms of what exactly happened, how much was he involved, and what kind of required him to like just delete the Twitter account and just dip out. we've also talked about him probably. We've talked about him last time, maybe last Monday, where basically, there's this issue where I think we talked about how he dumped the Wi-Fi, right? And he was saying that he would rebuy it a little bit later, but it's like, yeah, okay. But like the fact that when somebody comes into so much money, right? Let's say he made a bet on Wi-Fi, right? Let's say a person invests $1,000, now they're sitting like 700,000 or whatever, or they turn that into 600 million. Right now you're in a whole different game now, right? You first of all, you gotta have to protect yourself, right? So you don't get, I guess, scammed in terms of like some kind of what do they call them, blackmail or whatnot, right? And then also you have to think about the taxes, regulation, and all this stuff. Get a bunch of lawyers, right? And you have to figure out how you're gonna be able to use these funds. It's not as easy as just like, all right, I made like 600 mil, let me just pull out and put it in my Chase account. Like, no, like that's not how it works. So I think just like in general, that's also a piece that's important to consider, that like that guy is also probably busy, like, doing other things to diversify his portfolio, get out of like certain assets, dumping certain things, and then probably taking a step back for now. And like, who knows? Maybe he just retired. Like that's it for me. He's gonna live the McAfee life now.
It's an interesting conversation, man. I don't know where to kind of leave it. I think it's just like, we'll see what happens. Obviously, like the general consensus here is don't trust an account that is probably like 6 months old and just like came out of nowhere and is now like hyping you into different projects. I think obviously with the Emanate situation first, Wi-Fi is one thing, but the Emanate and now this off blue situation, like it is not a good idea to kind of trust something that it just doesn't have the reputation. So
yeah, I can't believe like, that he raised 800K in a matter of minutes. So people literally just smashing the market, buy without, doing any type of research or looking into it at all.
Yeah.
And this is the second round, right? EMN was the first, one that it happened to. Now, like, fool me once, know.
And so. I guess to wrap a bow on this Wi-Fi stuff, I think it obviously has kind of bounced up off that 13K. It was around 17, I believe, at this point. I think it will always consistently be a good project. The only other thing we didn't talk about was Andre. There were a ton of people coming out and saying Andre was in depression mode. He got death threats from what happened with that EMN. Guys, he was like working on an NFT, DeFi kind of synergy project that I think had to do with gaming, and it got exploited. A ton of people lost a lot of money, and Andre kind of lost his Jesus status, his like untouchable status, because he had made people a lot of money and had yet to kind of misstep. And I think that was a misstep, kind of shilling that situation or that project before it was ready. It got exploited, and he lost some clout there. So Wi-Fi has been dealing with it, man. I think over the course of the next year or two, it'll be fine. But it is going through it right now. So
yeah, it's crazy because we've always talked about how like new things come out, and it's kind of like people got into this mode where they buy it and then find out what the hell they bought,
and it worked for so long.
Yeah, exactly. Until it stops working, and then you figure out that you bought a scam or something. Same thing with influencers. I think because the market is moving so quickly, right? The speed of crypto market is fast. Influencers are trying to be on top of things, and I think that maybe kind of their due diligence process or is kind of impacted by that, right? So they're trying to be first and to kind of go on Twitter and say their opinion, shill something. Just because maybe they bought it without even looking into it, and all that stuff. So I think in general, we've seen influencers kind of going through this period of all right, some people are going to lose clout. There's going to be reshuffling of communities who they're going to follow, and they're going to find out, who the real guys are, kind of, and who've been sticking around and not, kind of falling for that bad quality shilling. So it's tough,
I think just to kind of complete this arc that we're talking about, it's interesting to see that DeFi cycle, because I think there was a lot of ICO type feels to it, right? Where you had that kind of euphoria where no one could do anything wrong.
Right.
Really, at the height of it, no, I don't care if you're the biggest scammer in the world, you could get nothing wrong. And then by the end of it, when the cycle had ended, you almost were like people were looking for people to, like the few situation.
Yeah.
That's the end of the DeFi cycle. I think you could, at least this one, at least 2020, and there were some visceral reactions to that, and I think it had a lot to do with just the cycle ending in general.
I like how Suzu explained this. They had asked him, kind of what was the sign of the cycle kind of ending in DeFi, and he talked about generally in just markets, you see when you have a lot of copycats are rolling out quickly, just straight out copy, nothing new, and that gets extended to so many copies that eventually the market is too saturated and then takes a dip. And really, he talks about the capital allocation, that the inefficiency in capital allocation, where the market is rewarding something that's a complete copy and nothing new, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what continued to happen. We saw all these like Kimbab, like all this like others that are like popping up. There were copies of others that didn't really, they were offering like a ridiculous rate. It was like, what is it, like 4 billion APYs? Yeah. So like that was definitely an indication that the market is going to feel untoppy. But as we come out of it, obviously certain players will remain, and they will become stronger. Like we've seen Aave, we've seen like Sushi Swap is still doing well. They're going to continue to innovate. So those bubbles are good.
All right, so we have to go pretty far back to talk on some of these comments. We were talking for a little bit there. If you can kind of go through, I think all the way back to where we dropped even the comment for layer one, we can kind of talk around there. There's a ton. Looks like Ryan D's in the chat. Erickson's in the chat. Crypto Stacy's in the house. What's up, Stacy? Yeah. Asmode's in the house. We got a lot of late comers here on the lads. We got Amika's here. Okafor's here. So appreciate you guys kind of showing up, man. We're so close to that mark. We need about 9 more in the chat for you guys to get that extra lads airdrop. And we've got some interesting announcements here coming this week. I don't want to give too much away, but we're continuously building here on Layer 1, and the lads community is getting bigger every week. We're adding something new. So that's been fun to watch.
Yeah, Crypto Stacy is like, fool me over and over till I make it. Pretty much.
It was interesting, man, because Andre like had that misstep, but the comment was, who would be going back there if he like shilled another project the next day?
Right.
I might
Yeah.
I might take my
exactly.
chances with that.
Social experiments are fascinating. How many people sold their Uniswap token, right, and then bought it back again. So it's like the experiments are fascinating.
Yeah, we got a lot of lads comments, so all of you kind of shouting out lads, we appreciate you guys showing up late to this episode. We've got EOS comments. It looks like Stacy's a EMN holder, so good luck with that, Stacy. We wish you all the best. Looks like Buff's talking now. I say better late than never. Appreciates the lads showing up. Looks like, yes, I've been involved in some of this Binance Smart Chain stuff too, Stacy. So that's been interesting to take advantage of. I had that whale shark comment pulled up, but we'll move on here. He said anonymity is an enabler. The good become better, and the worst find a new bottom. So I think that's a good comment though. And whale shark's doing some good stuff. So we're gonna continue to see anon accounts, in crypto, and I think there's a place for them. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see. I'm going to try to pull up the rest of these, what we had kind of going on here. It looks like we're moving into EOS. So I know I have that Ethereum ticker up there, kind of just sitting there. But it looks like we're going to move on past Ethereum. We're moving into EOS. I know we've got some EOS lads in the chat. It was a hell of a week. We've been waiting a long time for the best secret in crypto, or the worst held secret in crypto. All of us kind of were wondering when this was going to be officially announced, and now we finally have the news. And I'm about to pull it up on the screen. That nice big G on the screen. Looks like Google is coming on, and not potentially, is actually coming on as a block producer for EOS. So you have the announcement here from Block.one. Block.one welcomes Google Cloud to the EOS community. This is big, and for more reasons than one, but mainly I think the main detractors for EOS have pointed at the cartel, right, that owns EOS. The top 21 and a majority are part of the Chinese block producers that control the chain. It can't be decentralized. So this news that Google Cloud is coming on as a potential block producer candidate, and eventually I'm sure with all the support of Block.one and the community, they're going to be a top 21 block producer on EOS. Boom.
Yeah, that's insane. And it's like the first question is like, how does this translate to the price of EOS? Right? We have really seen EOS kind of move that much, right?
Mm-hmm.
We saw initial reactions. It went up to close to $3, but it's like EOS has been like a stable coin lately.
Mm-hmm.
It's like insane. Between the basically $2 and $3 where the price has been bouncing. I wonder if Google has already kind of acquired tokens
Mm-hmm.
to be a block producer, or not. But we'll see. Obviously, to be a top 21 block producer, you have to have a pretty significant amount, right?
Yeah. So getting into the details here, and I know we have a lot of, again, EOS lads that are in the chat right now. So obviously those can be voted towards the producer, right? So Block.one can take a portion of their EOS and say, we're going to throw it behind Google. Obviously, any type of user on an investor within EOS can do the same. I'm sure that they have some portion of EOS that they must have picked up off them. Like, you have to almost. They aren't taking rewards. That's a big thing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you know what they're doing? They're renting. They're renting the EOS resources, I believe, to have this happen. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I need more information here. We need to know how Google plans to be a top 21 block producer without acquiring those tokens themselves. It looks like they're gonna. My first guess is Block.one's gonna prop them up.
Yeah,
that's my first guess. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's tough. To kind of say that, because Google, being such a big company, obviously has to deal with regulations in multiple different districts.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to be holding, the token, if that kind of puts them under fire. But maybe there's a way around it.
Yeah.
Imagine if the next one they announce is going to be like Amazon, AWS.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be crazy.
We've given Block.one a lot of shit. And also praise them. And this is one of those situations where we need to praise them for doing this behind the scenes. So I'm glad that this finally rolled out. There was, if you're working with a company like Google Cloud and Google in general, there was a lot of red tape to get through. So they've been doing that for a long time. Shout out to them. This was big. I think a lot of people are pointing out that obviously with delegated proof of stake, you can actually gain those votes, which it's a roundabout way of saying, like, hopefully Google at one point gets to the top 21, but they're going to need support from the community to do so. I don't know if they're even going to go out and buy those EOS tokens, man. We'll see. It would be an easy. The other one, they're not collecting rewards. So if they get to top 21, I don't know where there's rewards. I'm guessing their percentage that would have been delegated to them gets dispersed into some type of either the broader back into circulation, into what the rewards would have gone to everyone else. But they're not collecting rewards.
Yeah, I wonder what is the value proposition for for Google to do this? Or what is the kind of what is the reason? Why would they do that? Why would they choose EOS over Ethereum?
Yeah,
or like it's why what attracted them?
Yeah, so I can go ahead and read directly from the actual statement. It says, we're starting the process of becoming an EOS Block Producer candidate. As organizations begin to incorporate distributed ledger technology into their infrastructures, we are committed to ensuring the information on public blockchains are securely stored, reliably available, and can be accessed in meaningful ways. So really what they're trying to do, and I think this is an outsource, the Block.one probably did a ton of work to get this partnership created. So I think what happened was, Block.one kind of reached out and was very active in making sure, hey, this is what EOS is. This is what it can do. Come on as an EOS Block Producer. They're not receiving any rewards, so it's an infrastructure play. It's a
tech play.
It's a tech play. Yeah. It's a good question though, because there's not like an immediate monetary reward that goes to EOS or that goes to Google for being one of the top block producers, but it's more of like a, hey, let's dip our toes into crypto in a meaningful way, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting because Google is actually, it's very good at taking risks and kind of spinning things around and doing different stuff to kind of prove to the tech community that, listen, it can be done. This is how it can be used. Google fiber optics, right? Like the internet, right? They didn't necessarily want to be the ISP, right? But they wanted to show, hey, listen, if you guys do this in this way, then it can be much faster, much more efficient. Google Glass obviously was not really a success, but that might return a little bit later. Maybe the timing was off. They're doing a lot of these venture things into being on the cutting edge of technology, and this is probably falls in that same grouping for them. Again, it's an experiment. They're like trying to show how it can be used as this word, enterprise solutions.
Keyword, get the drink going.
Yeah, exactly. Enterprise solutions here. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to come out of that. And if, other companies like that are in a similar realm of things and got money to kind of throw around, or innovation take risk, maybe Amazon or others. They'll experiment.
Yeah, we have a ton of comments coming through as well. Crypto Pickles in the house asking I wonder how Google will contribute to the EOS community. So that will be an interesting play. Let's see if they get involved in the actual day-to-day with maybe an arm. We synergize. That's another one. Google. Danny's saying Google could buy the EOS mainnet. Definitely, if they wanted to, they probably could. Google Cloud is already making profits by other BPs using their services. True. That's an interesting debate too. I think like the AWS infrastructure that props up a lot of the decentralized internet as we see it, the Web3, it's kind of powered by Web2 at this point. That's like that sore subject that nobody wants to be brought up, right? It's like decentralization, but it's like, well, don't worry about that, Amazon, bro. Like, and then you hear like in the news sometimes, like their servers get like attacked, and then suddenly it's like, wait a minute, doesn't that mean that the crypto can be attacked through AWS as well? And everybody's just like, don't say that, It's like Satoshi's keys. It's like. It's like who cares?
It's like that meme, the FBI guy like texts you, says delete this,
Exactly. So I think you made a good point about the EOS price too. I think those of us that are within the EOS community would have liked to see a little bit of a better reaction. There was an initial spike, like you said, from like $2.40 to like $3, but it is interesting, man. You still have the EOS detractors. I think EOS came out so hard within that Ethereum killer debate in 2017 that like it is, and Ethereum makes up a large portion of the crypto community. Many of the influencers are Ethereum influencers. It's just it seems like the Ethereum community is not willing to take any sort of news. This is big ass news, man.
Yeah.
Huge news. And it just falls on deaf ears a little bit. So the EOS will keep building. It'll keep continuously building those bridges to Ethereum. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, you would have liked to see the whole market kind of take this news and kind of have a kumbaya moment where they're just like, this is huge for crypto. Didn't happen. So
yeah, that was strange. It's also interesting, kind of point out that the fact that EOS price has been stable between $2-3 for some time, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you think about BPs and the rewards that they're making, they can kind of project that and have more of a stable, less volatile rewards in terms of dollars if they have to cash out some EOS and pay for the bills for the infrastructure and so on, right? So
yeah, looks like Vlad's in the house.
Oh yeah, Vlad, what's up, man? Yeah, I missed you too, and I'll be tomorrow hot on the mic.
I'm glad Vlad came into this episode, because I was beginning to think Vlad was like your burner account.
Oh, so you don't think it's my burner account anymore?
Not anymore, because it happened live. So this is what a little bit extra news, guys, on the EOS front. We had Block.one appointing a Goldman Sachs vet, Martin Chavez, to the advisory board. So he's going to come on, and I'll read directly from the article here. I believe I had the... Okay, so it looks like as Block.one continues to enhance its products and expand its services, Chavez will challenge leadership, provide counsel on business strategy, expand networks, and help develop a governance framework that will promote sustainable growth. So it looks like on the heels of that Google news, they dropped that they're bringing on a former, I believe, CFO from Goldman Sachs into the advisory board. So what do you make about that?
Yeah, I mean, Goldman, obviously... very strong player, and they have definitely very good talent. So that's definitely a very good addition. It's always interesting to see, kind of like especially from Goldman. Goldman people are like a special, kind of nature. They're like almost like a kind of like they stick together, right? Once in traditional finance. So for somebody to come out of Goldman and take that crypto route is really not common. Usually Goldman people, they remain within the traditional finance and remain within kind of this industry and tend to kind of avoid getting into crypto and something that's kind of more risky and still kind of too experimental for them.
Got it.
But yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this is the situation. We have 40 in the chat right now. I believe we brush up to 44. We need to hit 52. Come on. We've hit all-time highs every week. Get everybody in here. Retweet what you need to. We're gonna finish up with DeFi, social tokens, and NFTs here. We need to hit that 52 mark. We've been hitting it every week. So continue getting the word out. Let's see if we can hit our all-time high from last week, and we'll drop additional lads. Last week we dropped an additional, I believe, 200 for the guys that were engaging within Layer1Live, or I believe it was 100. So you got a total of 200 for the Layer1Live. So guys, keep doing it. We're going to move on to DeFi here, and then we'll hit social and NFTs. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's hit it. So the interesting stuff that came out last week was about MetaMask that I want to cover. So now, MetaMask has released a new feature where it's basically has an ability for you to swap tokens, kind of similar to like the Uniswap. And it pulls basically liquidity. Well, it uses liquidity at Uniswap, SushiSwap, and all these other dexes that are available. It aggregates and kind of routes the order to the best available price. And it's a very big move for MetaMask because in general it just shows how the market has become more sophisticated. Where you don't have to go to, let's say, only one exchange, Uniswap, and then rely on their liquidity only. You have an aggregate of liquidity already in MetaMask, which makes it very, very convenient. And you then have basically you create a competition between these LPs. So now LPs will be, kind of competing for the volume from, let's say, that can come from MetaMask by having their order books that deliver the best execution, less slippage, and so on. That's the natural kind of progression of the kind of the exchanges, and it gives a lot of perks to the traders because again, it's going to smooth out the slippage. It's going to minimize it, and the overall industry is going to kind of move forward there. So that was big news. I was very excited, as obviously they hit the 1 million monthly users. That was pretty big as well. Obviously, we know, given where the market is right now, MetaMask is getting used quite a bit to hold all those tokens. But in general, I'm pretty excited that now we can do the swaps within MetaMask, and we can actually avoid kind of shopping around, going around, figuring out where is the best execution, right? So that was pretty cool.
There is an interesting portion of this article that I want to touch on here and get into a broader discussion. It says, it should be noted this service really isn't any different than what existed on decentralized exchange aggregators like 1inch or Paraswap, but MetaMask has a big advantage. Odds are most users of these aggregators already used MetaMask to access them. So if the same users can do the same thing directly in MetaMask, many will likely do. It also points out that MetaMask announced Monday it had reached 1 million active users. We know people and users specifically are the gold, right? Like us users, a lot of these products wouldn't exist without the user. If you have 1 million monthly active users, when do you start rolling out services for these that other services are basically accessing MetaMask or integrating MetaMask to use? When can we see MetaMask start rolling out lending services? If all of their users' tokens are within those wallets, why not run lending and borrowing out of MetaMask? You already have the users.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That's a good point. I'm not sure. It's like, when MetaMask token?
When?
It's like there's so many things it can do. But I think I'm pretty sure MetaMask doesn't charge a fee to utilize the aggregator. But correct me if I'm wrong. I think
well, they have to allow something.
The fee is obviously derived from the exchange that
gets it.
Yeah. So, but I'm not sure if they make any money on the spread there. But we'll see how.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what MetaMask's business model is. They don't offer any subscription services. They don't charge any fees for their services. So what is MetaMask essentially how is MetaMask making money?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, here we go. This is the new service, is the latest step in monetizing MetaMask.
Oh,
that's probably the most important statement.
Boom.
But yeah, it basically talks about, let me see, the fees. There are dynamic fees that range from 0.3% to 0.875 based on the order size. So that's interesting.
As Modi's saying, there's a MetaMask fee, but I always thought that was the gas fee. There's a MetaMask fee on top of the gas fee?
No, I think he's referring to the swap specifically. The swap for swapping tokens aside from gas.
But that's not the MetaMask fee. That's the fee MetaMask is showing you from the actual service.
From the network, right? I think we were both kind of talking about different things. There's the gas, right? There's the gas fee, right? And then there's also the dynamic fee that is charged per trade. That's different from the gas fee.
Definitely, but the fee is not necessarily a MetaMask fee. It's a fee that MetaMask is sourcing from whatever exchange it's going.
Oh, no, it is. They do say since it's the new service that in monetizing MetaMask, right? So their team is monetizing the use of MetaMask. So that fee is MetaMask. It's not a fee that goes to the exchanges.
So you're paying double then, because they have to charge the fee to aggregate the service.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That is the case.
Okay.
Which is 0.3. Let's talk about how people pay thousands of dollars in gas fees, just to buy kimbap,
Yeah.
So it's not really that big of a deal. But I think it'll create a competition and better liquidity with these other exchanges, because you have an aggregate that has a huge user base. So
Good stuff. All right, the comments are coming through. We appreciate you guys kind of following us along on this journey here. I believe, let me see if I can't find the rest of our discussion here. We're going to talk Solana, which is building a bridge to Ethereum for DeFi. We'll touch on a C Club hackathon, and then we're going to hit this meme event, Alien Worlds and Flow on CoinList, and then that's going to be it for the episode today. So let's bang through this real quick. We got the Solana news. Let's hit it.
Yeah, so the really quick news from Solana is basically, we talk about like the layer 2 solutions, right, to tackle some of the issues with Ethereum network, and looks like Solana is launching a bridge to Ethereum called Wormhole. Interesting, kind of choice of words there that they picked for the bridge. But that just kind of talks about how there's going to be Solana is hosting a virtual hackathon for the bridge starting on October 28th. So it's kind of goes in addition to what we've seen in the industry with like you mentioned before we talked, before we started this episode, is that multiple layer 2 solutions are being rolled out or rolling out right now to tackle the issues that the Ethereum network is struggling with, and that's going to continue to happen until whenever the ETH 2.0 arrives, but the market can't wait, right? Because given where things are with DeFi and all these other things that are being set up on Ethereum, the solutions, at least some solutions must be in place, to kind of help the whole sector, because otherwise it's going to undermine the sector and slow down all the growth that can come if the transactions were in place, right? So just an update there. Another player that's looking to get the layer 2 solution for ETH.
Yeah, I'm looking at Anatoly, who we've had on the podcast when we interviewed Solana, I believe, like 3 or 4 months ago. Anatoly saying each chain has its own unique features, ecosystems, and value props. We believe in a multi-chain future where chains lean on each other's strengths to enable new applications that haven't been possible until now. So it looks like that hackathon is happening on the 28th for those of you that are interested. We have some good comments there. Solana has some good backing in the community. I think they're slowly kind of rising to prominence, at least within just the community sentiment debate there. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they got some big backers behind them. So let's get to some comments. Ryan D had a pretty funny one. It looks like some people are talking about the MetaMask fee and whether people are going to pay it. Asmodee saying convenience charge, people will pay it. Ryan saying, yes, I'm definitely going to pay it. Ola's asking for other popular wallets that can be used other than just MetaMask. So you guys hit him with some popular wallets that you might use. That's one of the benefits of Layer 1 is that we can aggregate all this info. Ryan saying, but I mean, now I have to explain 3 levels of hustle to my bros trying to swap a coin. I think the point that MetaMask is going to try to make is they're going to obfuscate all of that, and they're just going to say, here's the fee. Like, they're not going to try to explain that fee and what it does. I mean, they'll have the info out there, but it'll just look like a general fee to the public, to their 1 million users monthly active. And it looks like Ryan's telling us Dharma Wallet is the other one to be using. So good stuff, man.
Yeah. I think like they could do creative stuff, like seeing in traditional finance, they'll have the spread as the fee in your trade when you make a trade, instead of having like no spread and then kind of and then have fees on the side. Yeah, hidden fees. Yeah, there you go. Exactly, that's the word I was looking
That is the word. That's good stuff. All right, well, we're gonna move on to social tokens here. Well, let's touch on this last comment. Crypto DGM, but will you be able to use Uniswap anyways? Yeah, I think you'll be able to just like you can go past that layer and go directly to Uniswap for those that are more experienced.
Yep.
All right, guys, we've got social tokens. So we just added this to our column this week. We've been following social tokens for a little while. Obviously, we're super engaged in what's going on in social tokens. We have our own social token, which we call our community token. That we've used Tri-Roll to set up our kind of infrastructure there. If you guys are not familiar with what we're doing with Lads, we have a Telegram link. Get into our Telegram today. Ask the questions you need. or you can ask them here, and we could try to get to it as well. But yeah, get in, ask any questions you have as far as Lads is concerned. That is our community token. So we've added this social token / community token sector that we'll kind of discuss because we believe it's gotten big enough now to discuss. I think there's enough news. Most of it comes out of the whale community. A lot of it's coming out of Lads community as well, but there's a ton. But today we're just going to touch on, as Modi's saying, meta section.
I like that.
This is the based section of the podcast here. So we're going to hit one piece of news for social token this week. We kind of just wanted to implement it for you. Seed Club, which is, I guess, I believe they're kind of like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Incubator for social token projects. I think they're like white gloving that service a little bit along the lines of what Tri-Roll is doing, but I think they're taking a more active role in trying to help these different social tokens. It looks like they're having a hackathon. Now, some of it is, so this is going to be October 13th. So starting tomorrow through October 30th, they're doing a hackathon basically to improve the tools that are used within what they say is the social token economy. So they're going to have this whole hackathon. There's going to be a ton of people that are potentially trying to take part in this, developers building tools so that we even at Lads can use in the future. And I think that's a huge piece of news. That's why I wanted to bring it to you guys. Hopefully out of this hackathon, a lot of cool tools are made that we can use specifically for our community token at Layer1 and at Lads. Let me see if I can't get some information real quick before I let you chime in here, Dima. Let's see. They have a ton of different sections we can get into. Looks like up to $10,000 for available prizes. There are sponsored bounties. Coin, Swag, Alex, and Jam look like they're going to be social token prizes for bounties. And there's going to be obviously access to the Seed Club network of creators and innovators. What do you think about this, man?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. More of that is it's going to promote more experimentation and building out of social tokens. Up to $10,000 available prizes, and then you also got basically you're going to be allocated some tokens like Coin, Swag, Alex, and Jam that will be part of the sponsored bounties as well. And looks like our man Cooper is going to be one of the judges as well. So that's always interesting to see. We obviously had a great interview with him just recently that's going to be released this week. So yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty interesting. We'll see what's going to come out. It's basically a way to stimulate that sector and see what's going to be built out. We'll see what kind of success it's going to bring. What's some interesting new things that some of these guys that are going to be participating, and who's going to be the winner,
Yeah, it will be interesting. It looks like, I'm glad you brought up the judges because we do have a judge section that I just went through. We have a partners section. It looks like Roll's one of them, Gecko, Decrypt. A ton of different people are involved in this project. So I cannot wait to kind of see what comes out of this hackathon. I think as Lads matures, and I'll just kind of like leave it there. We've been dropping a lot of info. Maybe it's time to it's kind of just like we've been transparent over the past month. I think we launched Lads on July 27th, but we've been transparent about getting all this information out to you guys. But we can't wait till Lads matures, and it will very shortly. So we're doing what we can on our side to make sure that you guys are getting all the info for Lads, but we, alongside these other social tokens, we cannot wait till Lads matures. Do you have any comments on Lads up to this point, man?
No, I mean, we've been seeing obviously the progress, and we've been keeping you up to date in terms of updates on the token, and we've been distributing tokens to the community. So it's nice to see that growing. So yeah, we've been kind of on track there, and we'll have some sweet updates here soon, as you mentioned, as the token matures.
Got it.
So
All right.
Yo.
Well, we'll definitely get you more information as we go forward. You guys have been awesome up to this point as far as LADS is concerned, as far as the LADS token is concerned. So we got 42 of you. I think it's a good time to kind of revisit the initial event that I was talking about early in the episode. We're moving on to NFTs here. So I think it is definitely valid to start talking about this meme. So everybody knows about meme. We have some meme LADs in the chat, actually. It looks like they are having a virtual HQ launch in Decentraland tomorrow. And so this is the situation. We're going to be getting info to you guys about having all of the LADs kind of get together and not have a takeover of sorts. We don't want to blow up their spot at all. But eventually, you know what this looks like is maybe we all get together in Decentraland with our LADs NFT t-shirts or hoodies or whatever we do. And we go and hang out at these different launch parties, meme being one of them. So you see this Pineapple House. It's going to be right next to the Binance HQ. It's going to be really cool. That's going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific. I believe that's 6 p.m. Dimitri did the calculation. 6 p.m. Pacific or 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
We'll kind of get together at like 5:30. We've got the Discord, and which we'll talk about here later in the episode. But we're going to get together. We're going to hit this meme building launch, man. That's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for that. Obviously I've been talking about, virtual events, and I wanted to have more virtual events hosted. And then also we get a chance to have LADs, there, and show our presence there, and kind of hang out all together in these, in Decentraland. You mentioned that you don't need an account or anything like that to participate.
No, you don't need an account. So I know initially you actually had to create the account for Decentraland. CryptoVoxels, you didn't need it, but now Decentraland's made that change, and you don't actually need the account. Certainly, you can create one so that you can log in with your MetaMask and have an NFT asset and attach it to your. So I have that MetaFactory head, and Buffalo is mentioning it's like, what the hell's wrong with your avatar? It's like I got this MetaFactory head that goes on my avatar. But guys, I might be able to just show you, right? Like, let me see if I can get into Decentraland. This is essentially where we're going to be meeting. So it's taking us to the event section, as you can see. And then you can actually go to the destination. It looks like there's an event section within the Decentraland platform. Let's see if we can't go into... Okay, I am of legal age. Let me see if I can log in with my MetaMask here and get you started. I think that's the only proper way to do this. All right, we've got the Decentraland loading here. Oh, we got some interesting chats going on in the chat right now. Stay NSFW compliant, guys.
Yeah, I know, right?
It looks like it's awaiting my signature, so user experience on deck. Let's see.
Get started.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, here we go. I've got us on the screen. Obviously, it's going to be limited to kind of this screen that we're showing here, guys. I'll work on that in the future. But you can kind of see Decentraland here. It looks like it's going to be right next to Binance HQ. So you have the Binance US building here that you can go in. I'm guessing it's going to be either on the right over here in this little plot that indicates an empty plot, or it could be on the left over here. So we don't know exactly, but it's going to be near this Binance HQ. Lads are all going to get up in there. I don't know exactly what they have planned for the actual event, but that's what we're doing tomorrow. So you got any comments there, Dima?
Nice. Yeah, I think my mic should be working, right? I had some Zoom notifications here.
Okay, guys, we're running up to the end of the episode. We're getting hit hard by the DDoSers and technical difficulties. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I just logged into Decentraland.
Nice.
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. We'll give it a try tomorrow.
Well, I think this Decentraland messed up my my audio here. Oh, here we go. I'm back. All right, I just turned it off. But anyway.
Very cool. Very cool. Guys, so what we're going to do eventually, we have so much planned for for NFTs in general. Obviously, NFT Live is a huge channel within Layer 1. We have so many things. You guys don't even know what we've discussed as a team as it relates to Sandbox, as it relates to all of the metaverses. But one thing we can do and one thing we want to do is get like NFT kind of hoodie or something that indicates that you are a lad. We'll be rolling that out. Expect announcements, but that would be really cool to have doing an event like this. But that's happening tomorrow, guys. So 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Hop into the Telegram, hop into Discord if you have access to Citadel, and we'll be making that happen. So can't wait for that.
Yeah, that should be fun, actually. I'm definitely going to be there.
Awesome. So I have, if let me see if I can get this information from Michael Yeats, because Michael Yeats is a lad as well. He's from EOS Stack, and I think he's on the team at Alien Worlds. So there was a Wax token sale or collectible sale on Wax that happened on October 9th. We didn't run a sale day for this, although, I mean, based on their gamification, so they're going to actually have utility for these different cards. That it's going to be like almost a game where you have the collectible, but it also represents like in-world items. It looks like they did a sellout, but I would love to get more information from Michael Yeats. Let me see if he did send me something while we were talking. So it looks like he didn't send me any numbers. I would have loved to have like some type of number. I know most of the Wax sales have done anywhere between 100 and 100K, or I mean 100 and 150K USD, but they did sell out. So they had various cards, one for sale for Wax and another for sale for ETH, and both sets and both series sold out. So it looks like Alien Worlds had a successful Wax sale. I would love to get that USD amount for you guys, but I'll be definitely keeping touch on this project because, I mean, it's going to be one of the first collectibles on Wax, definitely, that has utility involved with it, beyond just kind of the collectible series that you've seen roll out. So it's a good little upgrade there for the Wax ecosystem to have collectibles that have essentially utility attached to them.
Yeah, that sounds super interesting. I see more and more of like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, and all these cards are coming back again, which is crazy, dude. There's like people that are buying like $100,000 worth of this stuff, and it's like, and you can see like the NFT side of things are kind of blowing up, and it's interesting to see both of those things go together. Kind of like, I haven't seen Pokemon. Why would Pokemon cards come back? Like, what's the deal?
Well, why wouldn't they come back?
I don't know, I guess, but it's like, how many people actually play the game? That the utility of it, it's kind of fading, right? I don't know if people still play those games. Like, why would you not play? Why would you play a card game? It's physical cards rather than online games. It's maybe cards, right?
I guess that could push the Pokemon company to release a digital version of the first series.
Right. Yeah, that would be dope.
So I think I think that's an inevitable future for those people that believe in NFTs. I think you'll see bigger companies get into Scott says boredom.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just spend 100 G's on this.
100%. So I think it will benefit these companies to kind of re-release series of it. Now it sucks for the people holding physical versions of these. Can you believe it? Like, if we're moving more, they'll always retain their value as physical portions, but if to not have a 1-for-1 where you own, like you're starting to see in NFTs where they have the physical but the digital version as well, kind of packaged together. Those people that own the physical cards now do not get the digital version. Yeah. So I think Pokemon can roll out a Series 1 that will have interest, and you will see people that are interested in these sales, but the physical equivalent will not. So you could have a 1-of-1, like Series 1 Blastoise, I think is like very coveted. And mint number 1 is, I don't even know what it's worth because I'm not a collector, but that would definitely happen. I think we're super close to that. So,
yeah.
All right. So I think we got one more piece of news. Another one that can make its way, another network that can make its way into kind of the column that you see here on your left and our right is Flow. Flow is going to be big in the crypto ecosystem in general. I don't even know if I can explain how big I think Flow is going to get, but I think it has the ability to be that user aggregator layer for crypto in general. Like, that's how much I believe in Flow. Having the Dapper team behind a blockchain that can now scale and offer crypto-related projects that don't seem like it, like they did with CryptoKitties, and that was essentially the first big user experience in blockchain. You can make that argument. But the fact that they've rolled out NBA Top Shot and it's had success, the fact that they have all these IPs, Flow could be absolutely gigantic. And the coin list auction that they ran looks like they sold 18. I'm going to try to find the actual. It looks like they. So here's the timeline, guys. 12 million in a funding round that included Coinbase Ventures, Anderson Horowitz, and an NBA Association stars. Also, they ran a community sale. So they ran a number, I believe, 2 sales from September 21st and October 2nd. After this, so I believe the September 21st through a certain time period was along the same lines. I think they paid the exact same amount as that initial funding round. And then this coinless auction was a Dutch auction. And I'll see if I can find it while I get Dimitri's thoughts here. But they basically raised 18 mil in this coinless auction, along with the initial community round that was held before the auction. But they pretty much blew away all the stats that coinless has had up to this point. So Dutch auction ended up, I believe, 4x above the seed round price. So that's where it ended. It's always good to kind of see where it settled. So I believe 50% of the tokens were sold at $1, and then it eventually, based on the Dutch auction mechanic, went down to 36 cents, which is basically what everyone then paid.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, I've been impressed with Flow. Obviously, we participated in Top Shot NBA, which has been a great success, as you can see out by the numbers, right? We participated in the beta. For those guys that might not have access and want to check it out, let us know. We might still have some invite links for that. And Flow, they're looking to expand further. I think they were talking about doing what was the next thing they were looking to do was MMA maybe. UFC, so that would be big. So having like collectible cards moments like they do for Top Shot for UFC. And then maybe expand into others, right? With the success that they had in NBA Top Shot, I think that just proves that they can get into a different, kind of like a sports sector and do it again. And if that repeats, then it's just like replicated across all different sectors.
Agreed. I think I've got it pulled up here, guys. You can see that it was that this sale round, which raised 18 mil, was broken up into a community sale and an auction. So that's where that comes in. There all these, I believe all these 18 mil for those people that got in, it's going to be subject to either a year or even a 2-year. Some of these tokens are going to unlock. So I mean, a lot of good sustainable growth that's happening with Flow. I mean, it's just, I think they're scheduled to release Q4 2020. I haven't gotten any official, and we didn't get any on the official interview with Dapper and Mickey on the interview that we did. We didn't get any official date for the launch, but cannot wait. Yeah. So
it's gonna be sick. I mean, I'm just looking at just my previous sales here. One card, this that sold for $200. That was not bad, right? Mm-hmm. Jamal Murray, I sold that one. And the overall experience of Top Shot has been amazing. So I'm excited for the new stuff.
So overall, I mean, we cannot wait for Flow. We'll continuously be kind of eyeing this project. We appreciate you guys staying up till the end, man. This is pretty much it. We've gotten to the conclusion of this episode. We went through everything. 34 of you with us all the way till the end.
Yeah, sorry I was a little bit jet lagged from all the flights and kind of, a very active weekend. But I'm, going to recover fully, be 110% tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern for Dimitri's desk, because we have lots of things to talk about in terms of price action, where things are, and where we might be heading.
100%. And I want to go through the schedule one more time. Like Dimitri said, he's there tomorrow at 5 p.m. Meme event is we're actually going to be getting together while you're live.
Wow. It's gonna maybe I should then change it, probably do it an hour earlier. I'll keep you guys posted in the Telegram. So this way, we don't conflict with that event because I want to participate in that as well.
Okay, awesome. So keep an eye out for that. We've got that meme event tomorrow. Audius is going to be the episode. We're going to talk all things social tokens with Cooper Turley. NFT Live on Thursday, Game Night on Thursday night, and then Dimitri's Desk on Friday. So that's pretty much the schedule for this week. Expect more updates from Brandon, our community manager. Shout out to Buff and Ronan. Shout out to the lads in general. You guys have been, absolutely killing it. We've been growing every week. We got close to the all-time high this week, but it's still at 52. It'll remain there till next week. You guys earn lads based on your engagement today. So what do you got, Dima?
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm ready to send us off. Till next time.
Till next time.